Hey guys, Mikey B here. Welcome back to my channel. I thought today I would mix it up a little bit. We've focused a lot on free to play, and I know I mentioned in several videos that I have other accounts, and I thought maybe we would just have a little fun today looking at my two favorite 4 stars in the game. The Fired Wonder Twins is what I call them, and I think a lot of people call them. The Chakra Dancer and the Boomerang Warrior, Shaina and Maruna. These guys are just amazing, and I'm going to show you some videos in a little bit of them in action, taking down Nat 5s in Siege and in Guild War, and it's just incredible the amount of damage and amount of crowd control these two little girls can do. It is amazing. It is just mind blowing. Love these twins. They're like my go-to when I sit there and I'm stumped on a hard siege battle, and I'm thinking, what can I bring in, to offset this? And these girls have they haven't let me down, but maybe once out of 20 times. They are really, really good. Now, I know my stats aren't even that great here on the Chakram Dancer on Shaina. I got some decent attack here, very low crit rate, pretty nice crit damage. We'll take a look at the runes. I do have her on Violent Revenge. I put her on Revenge because I wasn't sure if she would revenge, and the Boomerang Warrior would revenge with her, but they do not. If it's a revenge, she only revenges. So it could be that I may change these up at some point, but the substats and the stats on these runes are just really good. So let's start with slot 2. So have a 6-star speed violent rune. I've grinded a little bit, got some more attack in there. Some crit rate, resistance, HP. I love having HP on these twins because they can kind of take a punch and last a little bit there. I have a standard 5-star revenge rune. I was able to grind the HP and the speed. The crit damage and accuracy there is important. The crit damage, nice 6-star rune here. Got it up all the way up to 80%. You'll see the substats. We got some accuracy, defense, speed plus 12. I was able to grind the HP to a 15%. And over here on the slot 5, didn't do much grinding here, though the substats are pretty nice with HP plus 19%, damage, crit damage 11. I did change the substat here to a defense 5% and have a little bit of accuracy. And then on slot 6, I have my attack. I changed up this substat to a defense plus 7. We got crit damage and a resistance plus 3%. Not the greatest rune here on the slot 6, but it did what I wanted it to. And then I'll loop up here back up to slot number 1. We have crit damage, nice substat, nice power up when I was powering this one up. I got 19% on the attack, got a little bit of crit rate and some accuracy. So when we're looking at her, she's overall pretty decent. And then when we come over to Maruna, she's got a little bit better runes on her. And again, let's do that before we move on. Let's look at the skills here. So we see that the passive here decreases the enemy's defense for 1 turn with every attack, and the attack bar of the enemies granted with harmful effects will be decreased by 15%. This is huge. It helps you with crowd control. It helps you reduce the attack bar. I've even used the Shaina in TOA hard 100 because she keeps just reducing the attack bar of the boss. So just not in Guild War and Siege, but she's usable a lot of places. Also, my Necro team. I'll run a Necro here in a second and show you. I use pretty much all of the Wonder Twins in there, and it's a really good run, in my opinion. It's about a minute and 40, minute 50. I know a lot of people get a lot faster, but for me, time doesn't really matter for me because I'm usually running this and doing something else at the same time. So it's like I'm not sitting there looking, oh my God, 50 seconds, I got to rerun it, you know. It's usually doing something else, you know. So I'm not really, you know, worried that it takes a minute and 30 to do a minute and 50. What I do like is that it's pretty quick. And another thing I got to say, these are the only 4 stars I've ever put Devilmons into. And you can see that we still have a little bit of skill to go here. And as I get more Devilmons, I'm going to put them into her. But I have received a few Nat 5s between when I got Shaina and some others. So I've been focusing on Devilmons into Nat 5s first. But these Nat 4s I've put Devilmons into. It's one of the few. These and Chasuna were the other ones that I've done Devilmons into. So it's definitely, in my opinion, worth a Devilmon feed into these Wonder Twins. So we look at the first skill. Attacks enemies 2 times, deals more damage when the enemy's HP is low. Additionally, if the warrior is included, you'll get them both. You'll get the Chakram Dancer and the Boomerang Warrior to a hit at the same time. And we look at our second skill. This one attacks all enemies with Chakrams 2 times and stuns them for 1 turn with a 30% chance. And we're pretty fortunate that this one got most of the Devilmons when I first put Devilmons into her. So we got the cooldown all the way down to 3. Again, this is huge on crowd control. And now let's take a look at Maruna, and let's first take a look at her stats. So more on the attack, much higher on the crit rate, a little bit lower on the damage, a little bit lower on the accuracy, but a little bit higher on the resistance. Speed's not too bad. And on the runes, let's take a look. This is, I did not put this one on violent because I didn't have the runes that I could put on her to get the damage and the crit rate that I wanted. And with the other one on violent, she goes a lot of times as well. So you can offset if one's on violent and one's not. It's not horrible. It's not the end of the world. But I do like her stats, having more attack and a little bit higher on the crit rate and crit damage. So these runes were better at the time. Maybe I have better runes now. I think I ruined these guys probably about a year ago. So I would have to take a look. But they've been working really well for me. So I haven't really, you know, taken the opportunity to re-rune them. So I know that I always start in 2 because I go around that way. I don't start at 1 just because 1 is flat and it really doesn't matter as much. So I go 2 to 2 and loop around the 1. So just hang with me on my little quirk there. But so slot 2, I have a speed rune plus 39. We got the attack at plus 11 with using you know, a grind on that. We have defense, crit damage, and resistance. I like that you know, my girls here are a little bit tanky. You know, they can take a punch, like I said. And you'll see that in some upcoming of the videos here. So in my slot 3, we have crit rate, crit damage, defense, and resistance. Biggest thing I was going for there was crit rate and crit damage. Would have been nice to have speed, but I didn't have it. Here we have a 65% crit damage, a 5-star. Did get a nice plus 19% on the HP. We got the crit rate, some defense, some resistance here. And you notice I went Fatal and Blade so I could get a little bit extra crit rate from the Blade set. And we did have a 6-star here, Blade 5 slot. We have attack, we have the crit damage and crit rate. So I was trying to get as much substat in the crit damage and crit rate. And attack if I had it. And speed would have been nice. I might be able to, I wonder if we can enchant a speed into here. Maybe we can convert one of these guys into a speed, get a little bit faster. No, I don't have anything that I can convert into a speed here, but oh well. That's okay. I could put some more attack on her, I see here. Might as well do that while we're here. Let's pop on some attack here. Hopefully we get that 7% roll here. Come on, baby. Okay, we got 5. I'll take it. We'll take it. We're good with that. Um, so let's see here. We'll go over to 6 slot. We got a nice 6-star rune with an attack. Again, here we have HP. I was able to reappraise and get a crit damage 5%. We got a +8 on the speed, and we got some accuracy here. So, and then in slot 1, standard, just if you notice on my 135, I usually stop at, most times I stop at 12. I usually don't take it all the way to 15. You can if you want, but for me, my personal preference on the 135 slot, as soon as I get it to 12, I stop, and I'd rather use that mana to power up a 246 slot, because it's, I think, in my opinion, more meaningful there. Here we had the accuracy, we had the crit rate, crit damage, and HP. So if you notice, I really went get as much crit rate, crit damage, get as much HP and defense and speed if I could, and accuracy was really what I was focusing on here for the runes. Let's take a quick peek at her skill set before we then take a look at her in Necropolis. So if we look at her skills, and you can see I almost have her fully Devilmon powered up here on all her skills, all except one left, and that's an additional harmful effect rate of plus 15%. But let's take a look at her skills. So on the first skill, we have the attacks the enemy and decrease the defense for 1 turn with a 50% chance, and she will additionally bring in the Chakram Dancer and attack together on this first skill. The second and the third skill are the two that are the biggest crowd control skills of Maruna. And you can see here that both the second and third skills are AoE skills. It attacks all the enemies with the boomerang and stuns them for 1 turn with a 50% chance. Okay, so that's huge. And then her third skill attacks all the enemies also with the boomerang and stuns them for 1 turn. So this is pretty great crowd control that you have these 2 skills, second and third, the second and the third skill on Maruna, along with the second skill from the Chakram Dancer, that it's like you have 3 skills AoE crowd control. You can't beat that. These are what make the monsters, these Wonder Twins, so good. So yeah, not too bad. So let's move on here. So let's do a quick little Necro run here so you can see them in action on Necro. And let's go here. Let's go into our Necropolis. Let's do our B10. So you'll notice I used the 2 Water Wonder Twins, the 2 Fire, and I used Colleen. And if you notice, there's no buff. I have no I have no leader skill here, and it does pretty good. So let's take a look here. Let's have this run. I'm going to slow the video down here so you can see some of the damage that happens right away. I mean, it's just amazing that they're just going through, you're getting crowd control, getting lots of damage, and you know, they're just being piled right on him. It's like nobody moved that round. And then we come into here and we're going to take care. We got crowd control, everybody's asleep. We keep banging away. And then this one's nice. We're going to have this leech here not move, because as soon as she starts hitting, well, he got 1 move in. But as soon as we start hitting the lich here, you'll see that the attack bar actually goes in reverse, because the passive from Shaina is kicking into effect there, where it's reducing the attack bar 15% for every hit. Okay, and now we see we're attacking. We got our stun on everybody. And pretty much, I think, out of that whole time, maybe 1 monster moved once. the entire time. So it's pretty good. Now here, as you can see, the whole thing about the necropolis is to get that countdown so that the shield goes away. And with the dancers, you can see how fast you, one, take down the shield, and two, even without having dots or anything like that, you're immediately wiping out a lot of damage. The nice thing about what Colleen does is she brings in both heal, and she does bring in the heal block on the boss here. So if when he does move, you get Colleen going here, and she'll put up the block. And so there we go. So that run was pretty darn quick. And like I say, what maybe so a minute and 51. You see the best is a minute and 30. So it's not too shabby in my opinion. I actually like it. And like I said, it's pretty safe. And I think there was maybe one turn from the levels 1 through 4, and then in 5, I think the boss took 2 turns, maybe 3. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. So that's how I use them here in Necropolis. Now let's go and check out them in action in Siege. So in this Siege battle, I had already lost to this team, so I knew there wasn't any will runes on the Racken. So I knew that this would actually work. I actually brought in a all Nat 5 team and it lost. So I brought in Zenobia, and she is the wind chakram, boomerang warrior, and she gives you a 24% lead, speed lead on your team. So I brought her in to get a little bit of speed, and then I brought in my 2 fire wonder twins. So the Molong is very fast here, and he's going to actually take the first turn, and he's going to use his 3rd skill, and pretty much took a big chunk out of Maruna. But you see, with using the 3rd skill on Zenobia, I was able to stun the Molong, and then using the Chakram Dancer and the Boomerang Warrior's skills, I was able to put crowd control on the Eladriel and also the Racken. So I work on taking out both the Molong and the Eladriel, then the Racken, and nobody moved. So other than the Molong twice, the first turn and then the once out of stun, nobody moved. So you can see why I build the Wonder Twins to be a little bit tanky, because they were able to take the punch and survive, so that they were able to continue to attack. So let's check out the next one. So in this next siege, we're going to go up against a Triton, the Wind Sea Emperor, Varad, the Water Dragon, and also Perna, the Fire Phoenix. And we're going to run into a little bit of luck, as you're going to see when this starts up. The Triton, the Wind Sea Emperor, actually has will runes on. This one we didn't do any recon on. We just went in hoping for the best. And unfortunately, we're going to see that the Triton has will runes. And then we're going to get lucky with a little bit of come to us AI stupidity on the Varad. So we'll see will runes, and it's kind of rut row. Try to get the stun on the Varad, and we miss. And then we try to get the stun on everybody again. We miss again. But we were able to at least take Perna out on its first round, get its 1 kill down. And then you see Triton did not use its AoE. All it did was its first skill. Varad just used its first skill, did not use its freeze. And then from here, now it's game on. Once we get our turn, it's just game on, and we're able to polish everything off. So, yeah, we got lucky, and the Twins did well, but it worked. So in this next siege battle, we're going to go up against the Light Paladin, Genie. We're also going to go up against Ritesh, the Wind Beast Monk. and also go up against Theomar's, the water Ifrit. So the goal here is to put Genie under lockdown first so she doesn't provoke. So we're going to use the Wind Boomerang Warrior third skill to put the stun on, and then we're going to use the Chakram Dancer and the Boomerang Warrior Fire to put the rest of the team down on lockdown. So the very first turn we put Genie on lockdown. The retest doesn't get stunned, and you're going to see resistance here. Remember, I had some resistance on my Boomerang Warrior, and you see that came into play, so she was able to avoid getting a defense break and was able to take the punch. Then we saw Genie went down, and then the retest we were able to take down. And then from here, when we get the stun on Theomars, he then pops out of his Endure, and then we finish him off. So again, crowd control. Only one that went was Retash to heal and Theomars a couple of times, but we were able to take the punch because remember how I said I like to build them tanky so that they can take the punch. So in this final video I'm going to show you, instead of bringing in Zenobia, the Wind Boomerang Warrior, to get the lead, I went with increased HP lead and brought in my Bernard to force to get the first turn. So I wanted to make sure that I was pretty much guaranteed to get the first turn. My Bernard's pretty fast. He's like at 247 or something around that. So he's going to push everybody to get that first turn, and then hopefully no one has will runes, and we can get everybody on lockdown right away. So we don't take the chance of getting hit, right away. So Bernard gets the first turn, as we saw. We get a stun on the Molong, and then we get the stun on the Ganymede. Of course, Chasun has resistance out the wazoo. You never get the stun or resist. She always resists everything. Brings everybody up. And now I'm going to work on the Gani because Molong wasn't moving that fast. So I figured I would at least get rid of her so she doesn't reset the Molong or reset anybody. Reset the Chasun. So I was able to get defense break on both. And then Bernard was able to get me the next move by pushing everybody's speed up. And then we were able to take everybody out. So you just saw 2 4-stars, the Wonder Twins, and a 3-star Bernard just take down 2 Nat 5s and a 4-star Chasun, which is a pretty tough team considering what we were going up against. So again, I really love the Wonder Twins. You've seen several instances of them being used, and how well they worked. Again, like I said, they really don't let me down that much, and usually come away with a nice win. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave your comments below. Love to hear your thoughts, suggestions, what you'd like to see again. Probably resume back to the free-to-play account in the next video, but I figured we'd take a little break and have a little fun with the main account here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care.